There are places on this planet that science has declared too toxic to enter. Places where a single breath of air is enough to kill you. Places that have been burning without stopping for over 50 years. And one place where the residents have successfully kept every outsider out for 60,000 years, including a young American who tried in 2018 and whose body has never been recovered. These are the 5 places on Earth where humans simply should not go, and the reasons are more extraordinary than you expect. Welcome to Fresh Top 5. We are ranking these 5 places not by how remote they are, but by why humans cannot survive there. Some are forbidden by government law. Some are forbidden by physics. One is forbidden by a civilization that predates written language. Every entry on this list is real. Every danger on this list is active right now, today. Let's begin. More than a century ago, a war ended in northeastern France. The soldiers went home, the generals wrote their memoirs, the newspapers moved on. But in one particular corner of French countryside, stretching roughly from Nancy through Verdun toward Lille, the war has never stopped. The French government declared it in 1918 with 4 words that have never been unsaid: human life impossible. The Zone Rouge, the Red Zone. Originally covering 460 square miles, it was declared permanently uninhabitable after the First World War left the soil saturated with lead, mercury, chlorine, arsenic, unexploded gas shells, and the remains of hundreds of thousands of soldiers. The arsenic levels in some areas reach 175,000 milligrams per kilogram of soil, so toxic that 99% of all plants that try to grow there die within days. But here's the part nobody warned them about in 1918. The problem wasn't going to get better. It was going to last for centuries. Every single year, French and Belgian farmers plow up an iron harvest of 900 tons of unexploded WW1 ordnance from their fields, a century-old war still detonating in the present. France's bomb disposal agency estimates that at the current rate of clearance, the last shell will not be made safe for another 700 years. The soil will not be safe from chemical contamination for an estimated 10,000. And then the fact that genuinely changes the scale of this. In the worst areas of Zone Rouge, scientists measured 120 unexploded shells in the top 6 inches of soil per acre. Not across the zone, per acre. The Western Front did not end in 1918. It is still happening under the ground. 33 kilometers off the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil, there is a small island of 43 hectares, roughly the size of 60 football pitches. From the water, it looks extraordinary. Dense jungle, rocky cliffs, turquoise sea, the kind of place you might consider for a holiday. The Brazilian Navy closed it to civilians in the 1920s and has never reopened it since. Researchers who are granted access must bring a doctor with them on the boat because on this island there is, on average, one of the most venomous snakes on Earth for every single square meter of ground. Ilha de Queimada Grande, known as Snake Island. It is the only place on Earth where the golden lancehead pit viper exists. Between 2,000 and 4,000 of them trapped on this island since the end of the last ice age when rising sea levels cut them off from the mainland 11,000 years ago. With no ground mammals to prey on, they evolved a strategy: birds. And because a bird, unlike a mammal, can simply fly away after being bitten, the golden lancehead evolved venom that is 3 to 5 times stronger than any mainland relatives. Fast enough to kill prey before it escapes. And then, the detail that changes everything about this snake. That venom doesn't just kill, it dissolves human tissue around the bite site. The medical term is necrosis. The visual reality is something that belongs in a horror film. There used to be a lighthouse keeper on this island. He lived alone in a cottage that still stands, now consumed by vegetation. According to a local legend, unverified but persistently told, the last keeper went mad after the snakes came through a window one night, biting him, his wife, and his children. Whether that story is true is impossible to confirm. What is confirmed is that the Brazilian Navy took over lighthouse maintenance with automated systems and has never sent a human being to live there since. The cottage remains, the snakes remain, and the island remains sealed. One of the very few places on Earth where humans are forbidden entry specifically to protect a predator from us. In 1986, construction workers near the town of Mangalia in southern Romania were drilling for a pipeline when they broke through the roof of a small cave chamber. They lowered a torch inside. The flame behaved strangely. The oxygen levels were wrong. They called scientists. And what those scientists discovered when they finally entered, with breathing apparatus, has since been described as one of the most extraordinary biological finds in the history of our species. The cave had been completely sealed from the surface of the Earth for 5.5 million years. No sunlight had entered, no rain, no surface air. And yet inside there were 48 species of animal. Spiders, scorpions, centipedes, water scorpions, leeches, all living in total darkness, without eyes, without pigment, in a toxic atmosphere of hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. They were not surviving despite the toxic air. They were thriving because of it. Then scientists realized something that rearranged our understanding of life itself. These creatures had evolved an entirely separate food chain, not based on sunlight, but on chemosynthesis, the same process that supports life around deep-sea hydrothermal vents on the surface of the Earth, in Romania, for 5.5 million years. Today, Movile Cave is one of the most scientifically restricted sites on Earth. Only about 100 people have ever been inside. Scientists are permitted to enter for a maximum of 30 minutes at a time before the toxic atmosphere, carbon dioxide levels of 2 to 3.5% versus the 0.04% we breathe, begins to cause irreversible brain damage. 33 of the 48 species found inside exist nowhere else on Earth. Each one is a different chapter in a 5.5 million year story that had no audience, no light, and no connection to the world above. Some scientists believe Movile Cave is the best analog we have for what life might look like on another planet. In the western Pacific Ocean, somewhere east of the Mariana Islands, the ocean floor does something extraordinary. It drops. It drops past the point where sunlight reaches, past the point where most life can survive. It drops 11 kilometers below the surface of the water, nearly 7 miles, to a point called Challenger Deep. And here's the fact that should genuinely stop you. More human beings have walked on the surface of the moon than have reached Challenger Deep. The pressure at the bottom of the Mariana Trench is 1,086 times the atmospheric pressure at sea level, approximately 15,750 pounds per square inch. A nuclear submarine's crush depth is 2,400 feet. Challenger Deep is 35,876 feet. It would not merely crush a submarine, it would collapse it instantaneously, like crumpling a paper cup. And then the detail that turns this from impressive to impossible. Mount Everest, the tallest point above sea level, is 29,032 feet. If you placed Everest at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, its peak would still be more than a mile beneath the ocean's surface. And yet, life exists there. The trench floor contains creatures that should, by any reasonable expectation, be impossible. Giant single-celled organisms called xenophytophores, growing to 20 centimeters across. Transparent sea cucumbers, amphipods living in a pressure environment that would kill any mammal in seconds. But here's what the ocean keeps reminding us every time we look deeper. We have explored less than 20% of the Earth's oceans. What lives at the bottom of the Mariana Trench is the part we know about. What lives elsewhere in those depths, in waters we have never reached, is a question science cannot yet answer. The most unexplored terrain on the surface of this planet is not on the surface at all. In the Bay of Bengal, there is a small island of 60 square kilometers. It is covered entirely in forest, so dense that its inhabitants cannot be seen from the air. The Indian government enforces a 5 nautical mile exclusion zone around its entire coastline, meaning it is a criminal offense to even approach it. In November 2018, a young American missionary named John Allen Chow paid local fishermen $350 to take him as close as they could. He paddled a canoe to the shore on his own. The fishermen watched from a safe distance. The following morning, they saw the Sentinelese dragging a body across the sand. His name was John Allen Chow. He was 26 years old. His body has never been recovered. The people of North Sentinel Island, the Sentinelese, have been completely isolated from the rest of humanity for at least 60,000 years. That is not a typo. 60,000 years. While the Roman Empire rose and fell, while the pyramids were built, while every major civilization in human history emerged, expanded, and in many cases collapsed, these people lived on this island, untouched, unchanged, and completely unaware. And then this, the thing that makes their story even more extraordinary. They have not merely been left alone by accident. They have actively, successfully, and violently defended their isolation against every attempt at contact in recorded history. In 2004, when the Indian Ocean tsunami, one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history, swept directly over North Sentinel Island, the Indian government sent a Coast Guard helicopter to check for survivors. A Sentinelese man ran onto the beach and fired an arrow at the aircraft. The tribe had survived an 8.9 magnitude earthquake and a tsunami with apparent ease, and their response to the helicopter, the first thing they knew was checking on them, was a clear, unambiguous rejection. The image became iconic. But what nobody knew then, and what makes this even more complex, the reason the Indian government maintains the exclusion zone is not only to protect outsiders from the Sentinelese, it is to protect the Sentinelese from outsiders. A common cold, an illness so mild that most adults barely notice it, could kill every person on that island within weeks. They have zero immunity to diseases the rest of the world carries in our bodies every day. In March 2025, a social media influencer named Mikhailo Polakyak illegally landed on the island, filmed briefly on the beach, left a can of Diet Coke and a coconut, and fled. He was arrested 2 days later when spotted by a local fisherman. The Indian authorities are still processing the case. The Sentinelese appear not to have been exposed to him directly. The can of Diet Coke may be the most consequential soft drink in history. North Sentinel Island is the last place on Earth where a completely intact pre-Stone Age civilization lives in absolute self-determined isolation. It is a human mystery so complete, so protected, and so defiant that 60,000 years of history cannot fully explain it. Zone Rouge, Snake Island, Mobile Cave, the Mariana Trench, North Sentinel Island. 5 places, 5 completely different reasons why humans cannot or should not go there. A war that hasn't ended, a snake that melts flesh, a cave full of life that science still can't fully explain, the deepest and most unexplored point on Earth, and one island where people made a choice 60,000 years ago to be left alone and have enforced that choice ever since. Drop a comment. Do you think the Indian government is right to protect North Sentinel Island's isolation, or should we be trying to make contact? Subscribe to Fresh Top 5. New Top 5 every week.